This is the White Coat Investor Podcast, Milestones to Millionaire, celebrating stories of success along the journey to financial freedom. Here is your host, Dr. Jim Dolly.
We normally don't do podcasts live here at the White Coat Investor. There's actually a substantial editing process that goes on behind the scenes. But today, we're going to do 2 episodes live. All the mistakes, everything you could possibly see, we're just going to record them live, and then we're going to release these on the podcast over the next few weeks. So this is really exciting. But the reason we came up with the Milestones to Millionaire podcast is because basically these podcasts where we bring you onto the podcast and talk about your successes, congratulate you, and use them to really give you, inspire others to do the same thing you've done, have just been wildly popular. People love them. So we said, well, why don't we just do one of those every week? And so we've started to do that. And I think we've run 3 or 4 already. And today we're going to record 2 more right here in the conference. So let's bring out my first guest. He's actually local here from Salt Lake. So we're actually going to do this right in front of you here as part of the conference. Let's come on out. All right. This is welcome to the Milestones to Millionaire podcast number 5. If you still have private student loans at a high rate, we recommend checking out student loan refinancing with Splash Financial. Refinancing with Splash can save you a lot of money with rates at historic lows. Splash also offers special refinancing to residents and fellows and a cash bonus for eligible white coat investors. There's no cost to refinance your student loans. Go to splashfinancial.com/whitecoat today to see how much you can save. All right. So if you want to come on the Milestones to Millionaire podcast, all you have to do is go to whitecoatinvestor.com/milestones and apply, and we'll get you on there. So these are people that have done all kinds of cool stuff. Some of them maybe became a millionaire, became financially independent, became broke, right? That's a big milestone for most doctors, just getting back to broke. Maybe they paid off their student loans or paid off a mortgage or got public service loan forgiveness, whatever. If you're willing to come on, we'll celebrate with you and use your story to inspire others. But our guest today is Dr. Vi Jessup. Welcome to the White Coat Investor Milestone to Millionaire podcast.
Thanks for having me on, Jim. Good to be here.
All right. So we brought you on to celebrate paying off your student loans, which is actually a pretty awesome accomplishment. A lot of docs out there would love to be in your shoes. Tell us how much you paid off.
Paid off about $300,000 in about 2 years.
$300,000 in student loans in 2 years. That is pretty awesome. And what was your average household income over that time period?
Average probably about $550.
$550. Okay, so a good income. That obviously helped.
Yeah, that helped out a lot.
Yeah. So how did you do it?
So for me, it was, kind of a 3-step process, coming up with the mindset to pay it off, coming up with a plan, and then, executing the plan. With regards to the mindset, a little bit about me. When I graduated high school, I joined the Air National Guard, actually. And so they paid for my undergrad. And when I got into med school, I had the choice to either stay in the National Guard and take out loans or do HPSP like you did and owe 4 years to active duty Air Force. And so ultimately, I chose to stay in the National Guard, and then I promised myself that I'd pay off my loans faster than it would take me to pay back Uncle Sam.
And you pulled it off.
Yes.
2 years instead of the 4 years that I spent paying off my time loans.
Yes. And so, I went through med school and residency. Towards the end of my residency, one of my co-residents, Jen Evans-Smith, she just kept talking about the White Coat Investor, and I was just curious about it. I eventually bought the book, and it's probably the best investment I made, or had so far, well, besides marrying my wife.
Pretty good return on that $20 or $25, huh?
Yeah, it was, actually. And so, one of the chapters in that book is how to become a rich doctor, and just outline the steps. And then when I finished my fellowship, we moved back here, and then we literally just went down the steps. I couldn't participate in my group's 401k right off the bat, so maxed out backdoor Roths, and then just started paying down my loans. So when we started this, it was about March 2018. We were broke. November 2019, and then we paid off my loans about February of last year, 2 weeks before the government shut down mandatory payments and sent the interest rates to zero.
Maybe not the best timing, but at least you know you're done with it.
I shaved off 1.5 years. It took me about 2.5 years total. I mean, I shaved off 1.5 years that I would have had to be on active duty. I'd still be on active duty right now had I did the HPSP.
So when you say you came up with a plan that you then executed, what did your plan look like? How did you come up with the plan?
Literally, I was just following the steps in the book. I was totally financially illiterate going into med school. And like I said, when I read that book, it gave me a solid foundation to how I should invest my money. And so that was just the start, just following those steps. And then anything else I was interested in, I would expand my knowledge on that.
But as far as your student loans, did you just take your $300,000 and divide it by 24 months, and that's what you paid every month? Or
No,
how'd it work out?
Every extra cent we had went to my student loans, basically. And so, yeah, we just made huge payments. Any tax returns we got, any bonuses we got, all went to student loans.
Awesome. Did it turn out to be easier or harder than you thought?
It turned out to be a lot easier once we got the mindset, and my wife bought into that as well. We were all on the same page. It was pretty effortless to pay that off.
And how does it feel now to have it gone?
It feels great. Yeah. I now can keep moving further down the list on the things I can invest in, and just hopefully we can become that rich doctor like it outlined in the chapter of that book.
So a lot of people say you should carry your student loans for a long time. You should drag them out so you can invest and try to make more money than the interest rate you're paying on your loans. What do you say to those people?
I mean, for me, it was just trying to be free, right? Like I said, it was just a time thing for me. Any of you guys have been active duty military? I mean, I'm sure you enjoyed your time. You're just locked into doing that for the military. And for me, I just wanted to be free from that. And so that just gave me the motivation to pay off my loans as quick as possible. And so that's just one less thing to worry about. Now I can relax a little bit more and focus on other things. That burden's not hanging over me anymore.
It's amazing how much freedom you give up to protect freedom, right?
That's true, yeah. Sure.
Okay, so let's imagine there's somebody that's just like you were 2 or 3 years ago, or maybe even 10 years ago, and worried about taking out those student loans for medical school, et cetera. What do you say to them now that you're kind of on this end of it? You wiped out your student loans, basically 2 years out of residency. What advice do you have for them?
I would say, if anything, just try to avoid the lifestyle creep as much as possible when you first get out. And one of my favorite quotes is from Chuck Palahniuk, who says, "The things you own end up owning you." And I mean, you can find that out really fast if you just let your spending to get out of control. And I've also noticed that, I mean, it's amazing the things that you can accomplish when you don't care what other people think. So I have lots of friends with $100,000 trucks. They all make fun of me for driving my Honda Civic. I mean, some of the parents in my kids' preschool, they kind of turn their nose up at us when they found out we were living in a townhome. I mean, I just thought that was funny. I'm totally free, rather. I'm not burdened to debts or anything.
Yeah, it turns out that you can be rich or look rich, right?
That is true, yeah.
Okay, so what's next for you in your financial goals?
So I'm with my group's 401k plan right now, so we're maxing out the Ross. We got 529s, and basically just going down the list. We're saving up money, interested in getting to real estate, so that's where we're gonna go for right now.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your success. I hope it inspires somebody out there in the same situation that's worried, that feels this weight of their student loans on top of their shoulders, to know that you can get out from under this relatively quickly. Thank you so much for your time and coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah.
Very welcome. So, a lot of takeaways you can take from that. One, obviously having a lot of income helps, right? If you are an academic pediatric rheumatologist, it's going to be a little bit harder to pay off $300,000 in student loans than if you're a private practice anesthesiologist, ENT, or orthopedic surgeon. So income does matter. And it not only matters by specialty, but it matters within the specialty. I've always been very impressed at the wide range of income within a given specialty. The intra-specialty range is much wider than the interspecialty range sometimes. So that's obviously something that made a big difference. But something else I was really impressed with was the ability to focus on that goal. I mean, he basically put every penny toward this that he had after paying, obviously, a lot of taxes you pay on that income. He put that toward paying off these loans. And so I'm really impressed with that. And then, of course, the mindset that you no longer care what other people think about what you drive, what you live in, where you vacation, etc. Being able to be a little bit different, living maybe like nobody else is living, allows you in just a few years to live like nobody else is living. So let's remind you of our sponsor of this episode. If you still have private student loans at a high rate, check out student loan refinancing with Splash Financial. Refinancing with Splash can save you a lot of money with rates at historic lows. Splash also offers special refinancing deals to residents and fellows and a cash bonus for eligible white coat investors. There's no cost to refinance your student loans. Go to splashfinancial.com/whitecoat today to see how much you can save. And obviously, if more money is going toward principal than interest, you're going to pay off those loans even faster. And the extra cash bonus doesn't hurt. Keep your head up, your shoulders back. We'll see you later this week on the White Coat Investor Podcast or next week on Milestones to Millionaire. Thank you.
My dad, your host, Dr. Dolly, is a practicing emergency physician, blogger, author, and podcaster. He is not a licensed accountant, attorney, or financial advisor, so this podcast is for your entertainment and information only and should not be considered official, personalized financial advice.